Hi, I just want to take some time right now to speak about something that's really important to me and a big part of who I am today, and that's my journey with mental health. I feel like it's really important to speak about this right now because it's been an enriching experience and journey for me to have therapy, and I feel like the more we speak about it, the more normalized we can make it. The conversation of mental health and therapy and seeking help. My initial journey into having therapy started a few years back when I was, I had a lot of stuff going on in my life. There was just normal things that happen in life. There was a breakdown in relationships, and there's a lot of stress with my work situation and some personal things in my life, and all things that I thought I was strong enough to deal with, and it had seemed to manifest into a situation where I was working, wasn't feeling right at all, had this feeling of just an overwhelming feeling of fear really, and it was a familiar feeling but something that was so much more intense than before. And I remember where I was working, there was a medic there, and I went over to him very apologetic and was like, I'm really sorry about this, but I don't know what's going on. Explained to him how I was feeling, and he said, it sounds like you're having some sort of panic attack. And he sent me to the medics section of the event. They put me in an ambulance. They did, I don't know what it's called, but they put these things on me, and my heart was palpitating erratically, and they decided to take me to A&E, and it was really surreal and quite a horrible, scary experience, to be honest, and very unusual. And yeah, got to the A&E, doctors kind of like calmed me down, and they basically questioned what was going on in my life, and I gave them a bit of insight, and the doctor there highly recommended that I see my GP and explain what was going on to him. And what my GP had recommended was that I try some therapy. So that's kind of how I was introduced to it, really, was actually from quite a scary experience. When the GP recommended it to me, I was very reluctant. You know, I thought it was kind of, if I'm completely honest, I thought it was complete nonsense for me. I thought anything that I was dealing with, I can definitely deal with myself. I didn't need any help like that, any outside help. It was definitely a pride thing. I think it was an ego thing. It was a male ego thing that I had going on with myself. I think with the way I was kind of brought up and some experiences I've had growing up, it was maybe ingrained in me just through society that you shouldn't really show any sort of weakness. You shouldn't seek help because it's a bit shameful. It could be a bit embarrassing. So all of that was going on with me, and that made me reluctant to take this help that was offered to me. And after a bit of research and consideration, I decided that I didn't want anything like that to happen to me again. I didn't want to be feeling quite low and anxious, really. And so I decided to go ahead and put myself forward for the therapy. I'll just say now, it's like definitely one of the best things I've ever done. So when I started the therapy, wasn't what I expected. I guess I had some weird expectations of it, maybe like a lot of other people do. You know, I thought it was going to be like in the movies where you're lying down on a couch and someone's got a clipboard and you're telling them all your deepest, darkest secrets and demons and experiences, and they're writing it all down and analysing it, and they're going to tell you, you are this, which seems really daunting, but it wasn't like that at all. It's basically a very comforting scenario, really. It's a situation where you're in a room and everything's at your own pace, everything is at your discretion, like everything's up to you. You can discuss as much as you want, you can discuss as little as you want, you can go into the depth of things you're going through and really how it makes you feel. The therapist has never really pressuring you to talk about things you don't want to. It's more about guiding you to places and slowly unraveling things. Basically try to allow you to notice these patterns of behaviour by yourself. It is a very warm and safe place to be vulnerable, really. So the therapy I did initially was CBT therapy. There's all sorts of therapy, and what CBT stands for is cognitive behavioural therapy. Basically that's looking into the cognitive behaviours of your mindset in certain situations, or things that's kind of like repetitive in your life, or your habits and stuff, or your mindset to experiences, trauma or situations that you've been in, and gives you like a different perspective on things that are either holding you back or causing you anxiety. It was very useful for me because it gave me tools to prevent what had happened before. So me having that anxiety attack, ending up in A&E, that was the goal in these therapy sessions, is to eradicate that ever happening again. So it did give me tools in terms of like, if I had those familiar feelings again, I would just think differently about the situation that was going on, or why I was feeling like that. Something maybe a lot of people don't know with anxiety, it's the feeling is actually a fight and flight response. It's your body thinking or sensing that it's in danger, and it's a survival technique. It's us being humans, really. We sense danger, we want to protect ourselves, and we alert our bodies like we're in dangerous situations. So the thing is with anxiety, everyone's triggers are very different, and with the tools I learned in CBT, it's basically telling yourself, as simple as it is, that you're not in danger. Looking at the situation, is it actually dangerous? You know, are you overthinking? So yeah, like I said, we all have different triggers, and one example of anxiety trigger is social anxiety. A lot of people deal with social anxiety. Just as an example, social anxiety, most of the time social situations are not dangerous. So a lot of people can build up a lot of overthinking and anxiety just from a social situation. It can be very overwhelming for a lot of people, and one of the things is to really know that you're not in danger. You know, it's not dangerous. Like, it's a different journey for everyone, and it's example of like what I got from therapy as well. Another thing that had changed for me with this particular therapy as well was, before I had a lot of stuff going on in my life, and I'm a big passionate music lover. I create music, I write music, I have done for such a long time, and I was in bands and stuff before, and there was reasons why I stopped doing music completely for a long time. And though it was one of the biggest passions in my life, it was like, I'm never going to go back to doing it because I had so many demons attached to it. When I started the therapy, it allowed me to find my love again for music. The reality of therapy is not scary. I think there's a big stigma around therapy in a way, and I admit I was very reluctant to actually start any sort of therapy, and I'm sure a lot of people think like that, and there may be many reasons why they think like that. Whatever the reason is, I think talking about it and normalising it is only going to benefit us, because it's our health, you know, it's our mental state. A lot of people are talking about, we're talking about eating healthy, a lot of people go to the gym. If you're willing to put time into things like that, then why not put time into your mental health if it's needed? I do think it should be normalised and made a thing which is just, you know, hey, I go to therapy. Oh, cool, me too. Not like, hey, I go to therapy. Oh, really? Oh, are you okay? You know, it just shouldn't have a stigma around it. And this is why I talk about it openly. I mention a lot of things to do with mental health in my music. I'm very open about it on my socials, my live streams. I've spoken to a lot of people about different parts to do with mental health. I'm very much into promoting the discussion of therapy, getting help if you need it. I just want to say, if you are considering therapy, or if you're feeling a bit like you need to speak to someone, you feel like you're not ready to speak to someone you're close to, we are fortunate enough to have services which provide you a safe place to speak to someone. And I highly recommend it if you feel like it's something for you. I'd say don't be scared to do it. I'm actually now pro therapist, now I'm pro mental health help, because I actually enjoy having therapy now. I still have therapy. I now do talking therapy once a week. I get to speak about whatever I want. I get to try and work out things with someone who's non-biased, non-judgmental, and it's been a great help for me, and I think it could be a great help for anyone else who's seeking help in that area. I just want everyone to look after themselves and to take care and be kind to your mind, because you deserve it, and because we all matter, you know. So yeah, take care of yourself.